Welcome back to the Serving My Master podcast. As discussed last week, Avrohom Avinu was successful in purifying the world to a level, to return the world to a level where anyone, or at least to anyone who wanted, would be able to find and serve the Creator and Master of the world. But now there was a new job, there was a new mission. How to return the human being to a level where it could possibly and potentially become the ultimate servant. And in order to do that, Yitzchock Avinu had to take it to the next step. Yitzchock Avinu had to bring the humankind back to a level where it's not only willing to sacrifice its body, but to sacrifice its mind. Yitzchock Avinu, as we know, was taken to the Akedah. Of course, the Akedah had in it the incredible sacrifice of the human body, of Yitzchock himself. However, it went a lot deeper. Yitzchock Avinu knew he was supposed to be the father of nations. He was supposed to be the father of this new level human being that will become the ultimate servant. And then everything stopped. He was told to go up to the Akedah and to become an Oila Tamima, to be sacrificed. That was not just a demand on his body, that was a demand on his mind. Will he try to use his own logic, his own understanding to see things and try to figure out how it makes sense? Or will he go along as he did? And Yitzchock Avinu succeeded. Not only did he succeed, but as we see in his life, he reached levels of self-sacrifice that is not imaginable for any human being. Yitzchock Avinu so much so sacrificed his mind that he even lost his own vision. As we know, the Torah tells us he lost his vision that day on the Akedah. He lost his vision to an extent that he did not even see this world with his own eyes. All he saw was his master's will. He didn't have his own opinion on things. His body became so holy, so disconnected with this world, it could not even leave Eretz Yisrael. At the end of his life, before leaving this world, he knew he had to give brachas. He could not even see that Yaakov, the future of the humankind, would even need any earthly brachas. Esav, of course, Esav would need it. He could not see why Yaakov would need brachas in this world. Why Yaakov would need brachas that are relevant to this shallow world. However, his other half, Rivka, interceded. She knew that even though her kids, Yaakov, and his children will become the future nation, the future Am Hashem, they will need brachas in this world, because as much as they will be connected from the inside to become servants of their master, to become Avdei Hashem, from the outside, they will still be in this world. Something that Yitzchock could not even fathom. We see, the Torah tells us that when Yaakov came into Yitzchock, Yitzchock said, Hakol kol Yaakov, the voice is the voice of Yaakov, Vayadayim de Esav, the hands are the hands of Esav. And our sages tell us, Rivka Imenu took Esav's coat and put Yaakov on that coat. So when Yitzchock touched him, he felt something from this world, something earthly, something that was not connected just to service of Hashem. And that's what he said. He said, from the inside, I hear the voice of Yaakov. I hear the voice of a servant. But on the outside, it feels like someone who is connected to this world. And if that's the case, then of course Yaakov's deserved these brachas. He needs these brachas. Because at some level, he is connected to this world. Another interesting point. One of the defining features of the Akedah was the fact that Avrohom Avinu woke up early that morning. Vayashkim Avrohom baboyke. Something that is reminded and repeated many times over the generations. That when he came to do this action, he woke up early. Now, of course, this is all part of that same challenge of sacrificing any type of logic and questioning. But in our conversation, let's take it a level deeper. Avrohom Avinu as the ultimate servant trying to purify the world, as we have discussed, and as we see in the Torah that he created people. What does it mean he created people? He brought the humankind back to a level that at least if they wanted, they could find their master. He was the ultimate servant. However, what is the happiest day in a servant's life? What is a day that a servant wakes up early? It's the day that his master tells him, this is it. This is the service that I created you for. This is the challenge that I created you for, and this is going to bring me joy. A real servant wakes up early on such a day. Vayashkem Avrohom Baboike, Avrohom Avinu woke up early for the Akedah because it was clear what he needed to do. It was clear what his master wanted from him, and the outcome and the result, every single detail was crystal clear, and he wouldn't let anything stand in his way. No challenge, no obstacle would stand in his way from doing the service that he was clearly told that this is the service that he should do. So now let's flip the coin as discussed and try to see it in a way that we live our lives on a daily basis. Sometimes life goes by, ups and downs, the usual. And in those times, we need to try to find exactly what our master wants from us and try to do the service we were created to do. But sometimes, life brings us a challenge. Life brings us a real challenge. Something that's hard. Something that questions our sanity. Something that questions our logic. How could it make sense? I've been doing so well. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. And it just doesn't make sense. And the challenge is so big. That's when we need to remember the service of Avrohom Avinu. That's the time when the master is telling us, I'm telling you exactly what I want from you. Usually you're just a servant among other servants. But today, in this big challenge, I'm giving you the details of what I want. I'm telling you, you were created for this. So to widen this out a little bit, when a person sees and finds themselves in a bigger challenge, in something that's not something that happens on a daily basis, they should know and they should feel that it's the master talking to them and telling them, this was the day you were created for. This is exactly what I want from you. And that should make a person happy. Feeling and knowing, I know what I'm here for. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do now. Now that's something that brings happiness. In the next episode, we will take this to the next level. Of course, now that Avrohom Avinu took the world up to a level where if somebody wants to, they could find their creator. Yitzchock Avinu brings the humankind up to a level of purity, a level where somebody can take a human body and bring it up to a level of service to a master, a level of connection where they are completely disconnected from any human logic. But now there was a mission combining the two and bringing them back to earth. We needed someone that could say, we could be that. We could be the person who brings clarity and purity into the universe. We can be the person who brings humankind back to a level of purity. But to do it in this world, to do it whilst living among people, to do it whilst living not only among regular people, but among evil. Because that's exactly what the ultimate servant is all about. To live in a world far away from the king. To live in a world far away from where he can see clearly the power and glory of his master. And in that evil world, be able to live with clarity, to live with purity. And that, of course, was Yaakov Avinu, who, as we will discuss in the coming episode, his entire life was about living among evil, living together with challenges, And through these challenges show that one can live on this high level of purity and not only live among people and not get affected by them, but actually affect the world around him. And that is something that we will discuss in the next episode. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And again, if you enjoy this channel, if you appreciate what we're discussing, please share it with your friends and family. Have an amazing day with all the best.